Kathy and I are still in Cape Dorset, Nunavut, which is on Baffin Island. And as you know from last week, we are here to teach inner healing to young Inuit because we want to raise up the next generation of Inuit leaders. But while we were here, we came across an inner healing manual written by a Christian Inuit elder from Pangnirtung, which is another community here on Baffin Island. And it was fascinating how they described the inner healing process, but in an Inuit cultural context. And here's what she described. She says that a human being is like an iceberg. And when an iceberg is stuck in pack ice and it's all frozen around, all you see is the peak of the iceberg. And so that's our physical self and the self that we can be seen, or the self of us that we portray to others that they can see easily. But of course, most of a human being is under the surface. And under the surface is where our heart is. And that's where we store all the good things and bad things about our personality. And that's where all our pain is stored. So then this elder goes on to describe that when you are broken because of the traumas of your past and all the things that have happened to you, when your heart is broken or your spirit is broken, it's like an iceberg made out of ice chunks that are just pushed together in brokenness, and they're frozen together and you feel completely stuck. But then when God heals you, during the summertime, the ice blocks melt and they separate so they can be healed. And all the damaging blocks that have damaged your personality can melt away with God's healing love. And then the parts of your personality that God wants to give you, like hope and faith and peace and kindness and all the attributes that God wants you to have, they can come together and then be frozen together as the winter comes, and you can form a healed, whole iceberg. And so that the good parts can be put together and then frozen into place, and you can become a healed, whole human being. And I thought that was such a brilliant analogy, particularly for this culture. But now the question is for you. What is below your water level? What brokenness are you concealing or putting up with or coping with that God wants to heal? And are you willing to allow Him to melt those ice blocks away and put you back together whole, with all the components that He wants to have in your personality to get rid of all the areas of brokenness? So to live a transformed life, you need to pay attention to what's beneath the waterline and allow God to heal you and put you back together into a whole, complete iceberg. What a lesson from an Inuit elder. And if this is your first visit here, you need to get my free self-assessment guide. And to do that, just subscribe to my weekly email newsletter. And you know where the subscription form is. It's somewhere over that mountain. And you can just fill out the form and we can send you something every week. But this week, look below the surface.